Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Drew Griffin here from Delicious Marketing and Lead Bubble. And yes, I am not Bill Vitiello, and nor am I Eileen from the Chamber of Commerce. I'm just standing in today, and I'm excited to be here, right? This is kind of a fun switcheroo a little bit. I'm excited. I'm elated to be bringing on our next guest for this Chamber Chat episode. Super excited to be speaking on behalf of Bill, who is unfortunately out ill today. And I'm stepping in last minute, but I'm going to have an awesome conversation with our guest here on Chamber Chat. So without further ado, we've got a lot to get into. I'd love to introduce to everybody Jillian Magee of the Building a Better Boyertown Foundation. Super excited to be hanging out. And this is our very first time being able to speak with one another. And I'm elated to just bring you onto this show. Jillian, how are you today?
Hi, I'm doing very well today.
So I'm excited to
But
speak with you.
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
excited to meet you, and let's kind of get into it. This is probably our first time speaking. I think we may have met one time at a chamber event, but sometimes with those events, we don't get to really get into knowing each other and meeting each other for a long period of time. So I get you all to myself for the next 25 minutes. And yeah, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you do over there in Boyertown?
Yeah, so I grew up in the area. I am not from Boyertown originally, but I did grow up in the Montgomery County, so I'm familiar with Boyertown. A couple of years ago, I moved to Boyertown. My partner and I, we bought a house here in town. And at the time, I was going to Drexel University for my master's degree in museum leadership and arts administration. And I was interning at the Car Museum and the Historical Society. And that's kind of it just worked out that at the time a new Main Street manager was needed and I was volunteering and they liked me and they just set up. So it was perfect. Um, but yeah, so I started here as the Main Street manager for Building a Better Boyertown. I started actually the day before the county shut down for COVID. So
Oh,
it's
perfect
been,
timing.
yeah, it's been a wild ride.
No pun
Um,
intended, right? So you've got all kinds of
yes.
cars and things inside the museum, and of course, with the COVID and the quarantine and the shutdown, you know, no pun intended, but it has been a wild ride over the past year and a half. So tell us kind of a little bit of the backstory, like what kind of let's get into what your organization is all about firstly, and then we'll kind of talk about your role at the museum and then part of Main Street and what you actually do and why is this even a thing? Why is the building a better Boyertown even a thing? Tell us a little bit about what that is and why people, how people can support what you do there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I guess the first place to start is our origin story. So about 20 years ago, actually, next year will be our 20th anniversary. So we're very excited to get kicked off with some exciting new events.
Wow.
But yeah, our mayor, who had just recently lost the mayoral race, but she's been the mayor for a number of years, and she is the owner of Twin Turrets. She had kind of been reading a article in the newspaper about a mean street in the Philly suburb area, and she said, you know what, building a better Boyertown can do the same thing. Boyertown can be a mean street. Boyertown has a lot to offer, and so um, yeah, that's kind of how it got started. A bunch of people got together and everybody just kind of created this great nonprofit. But we are dedicated to preserving our local history,
Mhm.
preserving our businesses, encouraging growth, trying to make sure everybody is welcome in our town, and that, you know, everybody can experience all the wonderful things that Boyertown has to offer. So we do that in a kind of four strategy approach. We are a Pennsylvania Downtown Center uh, subgroup, I guess you could say. We're affiliated with the Pennsylvania Downtown Center. And their larger parent group, Main Street America. So we do have national accreditation, and we're working on our 5-year designation as well. But that pretty much means that we have a set 4 ways that we approach, you know, how does a Main Street look successful? And that is our organization. So that is our volunteers, our memberships, making sure our policies are up in order, making sure our bylaws are in order, improving our board, that kind of stuff. We have our
Okay.
design approach, which is all about the permanent physical improvements in town. So improving the sidewalks, the building facades, improving signs and lighting and curbing and parking and parks and all kinds of, any, if it's permanent, if it's outdoor, that's in our design committee. We have our Economic Vitality Committee, which is all about our small businesses. So helping our existing small businesses thrive, but then also encouraging complementary businesses to come in and get them set up and ready for success. And then our last group is our promotions committee. So that one is all about our events. We host our Oktoberfest. That's our biggest event of the year. We are just about to host our Chillin' on Main event. This is going to be our 18th year in a row. And we're really excited to bring all kinds of new activities, such as live ice sculpting. We've got a pop-up hot bar. We've got all kinds of nonprofits bringing their own crafts and activities, lots of vendors, lots of stores coming to set up. And of course, Santa. You can't have a holiday festival without Santa. So we're really excited to bring that. That's coming up on December 4th. And then even though Pennsylvania Downtown Center only really recommends 4 committees, we have a 5th approach, which is our Arts and Activity Alliance. So that is run by our art gallery, Studio B, and they help with pretty much any artistic aspect in town, the murals, the bear fever, all the bears that you see in town. That's pretty much them. So we do a lot.
I love it. I'm not a Boyertown resident, but I live nearby. I live in Douglasville, not too far away. But we're always going through Boyertown. And I have to say and compliment your organization that the revitalization and what Boyertown is today isn't what it looked like a few years back. Right. There's been a lot of changes. Of course, it looks in general what it looks like, a few years back. But what I'm talking about is kind of partly through your organization that there has been a revitalization. There, you can tell there's been some improvements. Even driving through town right now, there's some new buildings popping up and new businesses coming into the area. And almost every time I drive through, I'm noticing something brand new. Just a week and a half ago, or just a couple of weeks ago, driving through town, just so happened that the parade was going down, and it's very interesting driving through prior to that parade. Everyone's laying out their towels, and they've got chairs and all kinds of different things, and lining the streets for the kids to start walking through during Halloween. And if you haven't been through something like that, it's just a nice, warm hometown feeling when somebody walks through, is driving through or walking through that town in and around that time to participate in something like that. Gives you that amazing feeling of hometown USA, if you will. and of course you've got, the Colebrook Dell Road Railroad. That's beautiful. I had the opportunity. My daughter ended up getting some wisdom teeth pulled by a dentist in the area, and I had the opportunity to walk around in that area. And I have to say, it's absolutely beautiful and very welcoming. Right, that whole piece right in the Boyertown area is really amazing to look at and to kind of participate when the train is there and you get to kind of walk alongside it. It's a presence. It's something that's really amazing. So I'm sure that your organization had a hand in a lot of that process. What's it like working with organizations like the Colebrookdale Railroad and some of the other participants in the area? Like, what's going on with the holiday stuff coming up, and of course, the holiday that just passed with Halloween. What's it like to be a part of that and the community itself?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that we say that we do is that we are a connector for the community. And by that, I mean that between myself, our staff, our board, and our volunteers, we pretty much know everybody in the area. And
That's great.
so we will connect the people in the community, the organizations in the community, to each other for various events. One of the things that we've noticed and that we've really geared towards with COVID and resiliency to COVID has been collaboration. I am a big advocate for collaboration. I think that everybody is stronger together rather than trying to do something solo. So, for instance, the railroad had we were bringing the Pennsylvania House Tourism Committee to Boyertown, and they were going to ride the railroad. So we collaborated with all the other attractions in town to really give them a 5-star tour of everything that Boyertown has to offer. We included the car museum, the Boyertown Museum of Historic Vehicles. We included the Historical Society, the State Theater, the brand new Carl Spots Museum. So that, all the organizations coming together really makes the whole experience just something fantastic. But we do that for all of our businesses, all of our attractions. Um, Typically, we, even with, like you had said, you mentioned that like there's always something new in Boyertown. Uh, just this past weekend, actually it feels like every weekend, but just this past weekend, we've had a handful of ribbon cuttings. The weekend before that, we had another handful of ribbon cuttings, and the weekend before that. But all of these new businesses are we're connecting them with the existing businesses to say, hey, you're having ribbon cutting, let's make it bigger and better, and let's include let's get the whole community out here and really make this a big bash. And I think the one of the new the ribbon cutting that we just had this weekend on Saturday was Laney Row Boutique, and there must have been 8, 9, 10 different local pop-up vendors there. So that's something that we help do as well. No matter if it's with the attractions, with the nonprofits, with the stores. So it's really exciting.
That's awesome. So I'd love to give you the opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about your staff. How many people are involved in your organization? And if somebody's looking to get involved or volunteer, how might one do that?
Absolutely. Our staff is truly amazing. I pride my team on making sure that our work culture is really fantastic, the best that it can be. So we work the four of us that are working together, staff wise. We work all very well together. So we have myself as the Main Street manager. We have Samantha Pearson. She is our grant writer. She writes grants for both Building a Better Boyertown, but she's also a community grant writer. In that she will help if you are a local business, local nonprofit, local attraction. She will help you with your own grants. We have our event coordinator, Amanda Magee. She is the one she's the mastermind behind all of our events. She's had a very impressive history with various nonprofits and profits and events that she's held. And then we have our newest employee that we just hired recently. Her name is Kimberly Evans. She is my assistant, actually. So I'm very excited to welcome her to the team, and it's going to be a great time. But yes, if we have we always are welcoming volunteers. We have a handful of volunteers that are really crucial to what our mission is and what we do. And if anyone is ever interested in anything that, we do at helping us, I always encourage you to reach out to me at my email. That's manager@boyertownpa.org. And I typically always try to make sure that you, as a volunteer, are partnered with a volunteer project that you enjoy, something that's catered to your interests. I think I've myself have done a number of volunteer projects, and I think that approach has always been the better, the better
Sure.
approach.
Sure, I love that. Now, would you mind speaking to that a little bit? If somebody was volunteering, particularly around the holiday season and that sort of thing, from the TriCounty area Chamber of Commerce, there's probably a lot of businesses in the Boyertown area, or even businesses outside of the Boyertown area that might be interested in volunteering and becoming more part of your community. When somebody gets in touch with you by way of email, or they're calling you, or they come out to your website, what might they expect when they call and they say something like, hey, I saw your interview over on the TriCounty area Chamber of Commerce's page and the number of pages that it's going to be syndicated to. I'd like to be a little bit more involved in the Boyertown community and some of the areas that you make a direct impact with. I'm interested in volunteering. I've got a team. I've got a squad. Our business has a bunch of people that are looking to get a little bit more involved in the community. What type of opportunities in terms of volunteering might they expect to come across? I mean, what kind of activities, what kind of things that are you involved in that you could really benefit from?
Yeah. So with our activities, our promotions committee, we kind of break down our volunteer tasks by committee. So our promotions committee, if you're interested in events, finding crafters, getting the word out, day of activities, assistance with like the various events for day-long periods. Getting out in front of the community and being that face-to-face person. We are always looking for people to help us out at our events. If you are more interested in helping with the business side of things, we are always looking for volunteers to help with find new and improved resources for our businesses with our Economic Vitality Committee. If you are more interested with gardening, parks, outdoor environments, we have our tree committee under our design committee. They have we've got planters that need to get decorated with Christmas trees and Christmas decorations. We've got in the summer and spring, we've got them needing to be watered, that kind of stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have a welcoming committee for our organization. Under our organization team, we have a committee that goes out and welcomes new people to the area and tells them a little bit about what Building a Better Boyertown does, what we're here to help you with, all the different activities and nonprofits in the area, that kind of thing.
That's so awesome.
So yeah.
Hey, Haley, would you mind bringing up Building a Better Boyertown's website? Just kind of give you an opportunity here to kind of show off your website as we continue to talk and maybe wrap up this interview. So Jillian, as we get into that last portion here, and hopefully Haley bring this site up in just a moment, is there anything else that you'd like to add that I may have missed asking you about building a better Boyertown? Is there something that I probably should have focused in on that I missed?
The only thing I can think to say is to follow us on or sign up for our newsletter. Keep an eye on our event calendar. We try to keep all the events on there, whether or not if they're a member or not, you know, just because we are a member-based organization, but just because we have members, we try to make sure everybody is included. Definitely follow our Facebook and Instagram pages. That is where we share everything between our local businesses to our activities to our events, sales that might be going on, especially now that it's the holiday season and Shop Small Saturday or Small Business Saturday is upon or about to be upon us.
Right. That's so huge. I think it's a really good opportunity. And I think Boyertown has done an amazing job in trying to support local businesses. I'm always seeing something new popping up. There's a cross retail shop there, and there's, cake places, and there's, obviously you got Zimmers, and you've got all kinds of amazing little nook and cranny type of businesses. Of course, you've got, the coffee shop, and you've got some amazing other businesses in downtown Boyertown and towards Boyertown proper, and outside of Main Street as well. There's all kinds of local businesses that we could all support, right? In this crazy time and quarantine and everything that's kind of shut down, is kind of coming back to life now. And even the school district, everything, I think that everyone has done an amazing job in trying to really get on with our lives and get back to business as usual. And right there in the middle of everything is building a better Boyertown, right there, leading the way, leading the charge, which is awesome. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about the Bears, right? Is there like a history? This is something I've always wanted to kind of ask somebody about. Of course, the mascot of Boyertown School District is the bear. What's the history around the bear? Do you know what the deal is with all those amazing bears that are around town? They're all beautifully designed, and I always see new ones popping up left and right here and there. But what's the deal with that?
Yeah, so actually last year was our 15th year of having the bears out and about in town. The very first bear it was a tie between two. So one of the very first bear, one of the two was the towny bear that is located right outside of the Twin Turrets front door. And then the other one is located in the high school area, their courtyard, I believe. And one of the directors at our art gallery, Studio B, she had, I guess she said someone in the community had gone out traveling somewhere, and they had seen another town do something similar. And they came back to Boyertown, and they were thinking on it for a little while. And then finally they came to the conclusion that, why not us? Why can't we do that? So that's just how it started. A couple of people, approached Jane, and she got everything going and reached out to some manufacturers, some artists, and pretty quickly everybody wanted a bear. So if
How
you go
many
to
bears are there?
bearfever.org, oh gosh.
I put you on the spot.
No, it's fine. I should know this answer. I believe that there's somewhere above 80 bears.
Wow.
I know that we've had a handful of bears that are in the works right now.
Oh, really?
So the number is always fluctuating. But if you go to bearfever.org, it has the full list of all the bears, where they are, what they look like, the story behind each one, that kind of thing.
I think there should be a bear photo walk where everybody just goes around and takes these photos and submits them, user generated content, right to better building a better Boyertown. That would be a lot of fun to see the different images. Now, not too long ago, the Chamber of Commerce actually had a real bear out front. There was this crazy video that was going around. This bear was actually going down crossing High Street from the from the Chamber's parking lot. And I'm like, wow, that is not one of those Boyertown bears. Maybe it is a Boyertown bear. I don't know where the actual real bear came from, but that was a good sized bear that was literally walking across the street in front of somebody's car. It was absolutely incredible. But this is an amazing resource here. Everybody should go and check this out. Again, what's the name of this website here?
Bearfever.org. And there is a scavenger hunt. Yep.
There you go. How fun is that? That's awesome. Well, Jillian, I really appreciate you coming on today and giving everybody a little bit of a background on building a better Boyertown. You've been a lovely guest, and you're always welcome back. Your entire staff is always welcome to come back onto Chamber Chat. If there's anything that we can do at the Chamber to help promote building a better Boyertown, don't hesitate to reach out. Everybody, please, that's watching this or watching this on replay, head over and check out Jillian's website for building a better Boyertown. And what's the other version that they can go to?
Boyertownpa.org. Both links will show direct deposit you right there.
There you go. That's so awesome. Well, Jillian, you've been an amazing guest here today. Thank you so much for joining us. And please keep us in the loop about any events that are coming up. I think there's going to be all kinds of amazing things around the holiday. And if you would, hey, everybody, just drive through Boyertown and check out the amazing work that building a better Boyertown has been involved in. It's always a lovely time of year to go through and see all the decorations and what people are doing with the businesses in downtown Boyertown. And my best to everybody over at the organization, and we'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.